The Rowsfire A105 version 3, all-in-one radio, audio and TCAS incorporating weather radar. Hello friends and fans of the Frosty Nut, and welcome to another review. This time it's the beautiful Rowsfire A105 Multi Radio Audio Panel. It's quite slim, sleek, and incorporates a lot of features for a very good price. Let's take a good dive into it. Let's have a good review of it. Let's see it in action. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with the A105 version 3 in the box. And it's a nice box. I really like the way that Rowsfire do these boxes. They really do a great job with the boxes. It's like looking at the whole cockpit all around in a way. And it's kind of really cool. And then they got this open thing here. It also adds a nice little bit of coolness, showing the MCDUs and the eCams, and then we rotate the box to the back, and what do we have on the back? We have the overhead panel, upside down of course. There we are, we have the overhead panel. Interesting, if you wanted to use that as a cutout and just as a mock-up for a flight sim until you actually get a hold of the Rowsfire A107 panel, you could do that. It'll look pretty cool in just a mocked up overhead way. But anyway, I like the box. I really do like these boxes, and they also have like the actual center part coming off the pedestal there, so that's really cool too. And the way it just wraps around the whole image, just sort of wraps around the box to cover pretty much everything to do with an A320. And it's a nice collector's box, really nice little collector's box. So on the side here, we can see A105. A105. Really good. And of course, where this photo is taken, I don't know. But that looks really cool. I'd say there's a genuine Airbus that they've taken the photo from. But it looks so much like my wing stuff. Here you can see the, what is it, the call sign that they have there, or the aircraft cell call, province, AJDM aircraft 5962 F. So yeah, this is the photo would be from a genuine aircraft for sure. So kudos to them for doing that. All right, let's get into the unboxing, shall we? All right, let's have a look. Let's open up the box, and we can see more of that wonderful print of the image on the inside. Okay, so what do we have? We have a big, thick, chunky piece of foam first that was covering the actual product, which is really good. So you can see here, nice amount of protection all around for the device. Lift that one out, and we have our USB cable, our USB-C 3 generation 3, I think it is, cable. So that's good. And here is the unit all in the bag, the typical thing that we're used to seeing. And that's good. It shows, you know, they take a little bit of pride and they take a lot of care in doing what they do. So let's pull that out. And in the bottom, we have the QR code, of course, to scan for the configuration file. Now, Jerry actually updated me. This one was updated. So this one didn't actually go anywhere, but Jerry sent me a new QR code via message, and I was able to get the configuration file from there. So we've done all that already. So we'll close this box up. We'll put everything, actually we'll just take the unit out of the packaging. Let's pull it out. Let's put the packaging in there. Before I show you the whole main unit yet, I'll just put it to the side. We'll put the packaging back inside the box. I like to keep the boxes. They're always a good idea to keep them. Not only is aesthetics, collector's items and warranties, but there we go. So we'll put that there. All right, so Here is the Rowsfire A105 version 3. And it looks very neat and tidy. I like the look of it. I like the fact you've got your radio, you've got your audio panel. Down the bottom, you've got your TCAS. And over here, we've also got some weather radar switches. We've got our PWS, our predictive wind shear, and of course our system off 1 and 2. So we can actually select our weather radar on and off here as well. Just the standard TCAS standby, auto, and on. And here we have our standby TARA. Okay, ident button. All the buttons have a nice little feel about them, nice little click. The knob for the it's a dual encoder on the RMP, which is good that they've used a dual encoder. All right, so that's all working nicely. Nice little clicks on the buttons down here as well. You can feel them clicking. Same with the VHF1 and VHF2. And you can feel the nice little clicks there. And even the audio knobs, they click down to turn on the actual audio knob. So you can turn on the actual individual one with that. So it's a very nice looking little unit, especially for desktop simmers. It is brilliant for desktop simmers. Of course, if you're building a full-size sim and you want each individual panel, the Rowsfire are working on those as we speak. But if you're a desktop simmer, and you, especially for VATSIM, you just want the basics, this will do the basics for you. TCAS, radio, and audio, and weather radar. In regards to the MobiFlight, the first thing you want to do with any product, and I've said this time and time again, any product you get, whether it's SL3, Rowsfire, sim gauges, whatever it is, if it interfaces with MobiFlight and you have a module, the first thing you need to do is go to your modules once this plugs in, and you'll find that it does come up when it's plugged in. Now, at the moment, it's not plugged in, so I just have my SL3 auto brake unit, which is plugged in, and that's ready. So let's plug in this unit. I have a spare lead here, so I'll just pull that aside, and I'll plug it in. And then we'll see it populate. Now, the first thing you want to do with anything, once you plugged it in, and you hear that distinct dunk that it's connected, and it comes up, and you'll see here now it's come up with Rowsfire A105. So it has come up now. This is the module, the MobiFlight Nano module. So the first thing you want to do is click on here. All right, you can open it up to see all the functions if you want. And we might need to adjust a couple of things here. But the first thing you need to do is highlight this, click on Save, and then save the Rowsfire MFMC. It'll save as, but save that configuration, right? Because that will then be necessary if you have any issue with the module. And I've said this before about everything that connects to MobiFlight. Back up the module, and then you'll be good to go. All right, that's the best thing to do, is always back that up, so that if that was to ever break, or the module was not recognized, or comport had a conflict, or for some reason MobiFlight came up and said compatible and wasn't recognizing it, you don't need to update the firmware most necessarily. All you really need to do is go open in the modules, as long as you've got the one highlighted that you want. Click on what you want, go to open, that will then load it back in, and then go upload config to upload the config back into here, so that way you won't lose the information. Okay, very, very simple. Now, once you've got to the stage of where you're ready to load the project, now I will show you. You need to go to the configuration file for it, which I can't remember where I put now, but anyway, you'll get the download. You'll download the configuration, which is this file here. In fact, I'll show you. I'll just remove it. Okay, so when you load up MobiFlight, you might have your SL3, for example. My SL3 project one, which I'll come back to. Where are you? SL3 auto brake. Okay, so there's my SL3. I'll just assign that to the correct unit. Make sure you assign units to the correct units. Do not assign to the wrong units or you'll be in all sorts of strife. Okay, so now we've got our SL3 there. We have this new file come up. We don't need that new file. We can remove that. All right, and then we just add from existing project, and this will be the configuration that we've downloaded for the A105. This one here, which we downloaded from the Rowsfire website, and then just open that up and you'll see it pops in here. And from here we can simply save our file now as save as whatever you're going to call it. In this case I'm saving it to Fenix setup new project just to show you guys, and I've just saved that. So that what that means is when I close MobiFlight and load MobiFlight up again, it's going to load up this configuration I've done. So I'll show you. I'll just close that down. Okay, and then I'll go into bring up my MobiFlight, and you'll see it will load, it will scan for the boards, it will find the two boards now, the SL3 and the Rowsfire A105, and it will be all good to go. So there you are. There's my two configs files there. Now, MobiFlight is updated to 10.5.3.14 beta. I am using the beta versions. I always use the beta versions. I suggest you use the beta versions. And make sure that you have in your save, in your, where is it? The settings, sorry, my setting, in the extras settings, make sure you would like to receive beta version updates. These are the settings that I use on MobiFlight. Okay. So we've now covered that. So let's see how things work. Okay, we've got our aircraft up and running. Our aircraft is up and running. So we'll put this up here. We'll bring up the camera for the Rowsfire A105 so you can see it all. Okay. Put that a little bit back so you guys can see a bit better. All right, and we will click run on the MobiFlight project. There we are. We've just clicked run, and we have the initial unit has come up. It's come up with some negative numbers. Not a big deal. The reason that has because it's pre-configured for the aircraft to have power. So I'll just turn on some power. And once I turn all the power, you can see the unit comes to life. So once the aircraft has power, batteries, and external power turned on, the unit comes up. Now, it may not have anything on the display when you first plug it in, first run MobiFlight, may not have anything. But once you've actually set up the unit, it should, once you've turned power onto your aircraft, it should actually have no issue at all of turning the unit on. If it does, just simply stop MobiFlight and reload MobiFlight. It may be necessary to turn the aircraft power on and off again to cycle it through. So what we can see at the moment, let's have a look at the center console as well. All right, so there's our center console. Let's zoom in a bit on that. Okay, so we know what we're looking at. Okay, so what we've got here is a very multi-flexible, friendly unit, easy to use for our radio, our TCAS, and our audio, and also the weather radar functions, the basic functions. For a desktop simmer, if you're flying VATSIM, this is all you need. This is really good, really cool. So, starting with the radio, we've got VHF 1 and 2. So we've got obviously like COM 1, COM 2, and you can see that switches across nice and easy, and we have our display there. So we have our frequency here of Unicom 122.8 from VHF 1, And here we have 124 850, which is exactly what is on the pedestal. Now let's say that we want to we get called up by ATC and they want 132.900, which is a common one. So we want to the outer knob controls the smaller digits. So we want 900. And the inner knob controls the bigger ones. 134 or 132, I should say, 900. There we are, 132 900. We select that across, and there we have our 132 900 in the box. So with the backlighting, if I turn the backlighting knob up, you'll see the floodlight, the integrated floodlight panel light here. This one here, the integrated floodlight panel. You'll see it move at the same time. There we go. And it moves incrementally. So the brightness of the background adjusts the way it should. Now, what you can't see behind the camera at the moment is my wing MCDUs. The lights are coming up bright, and the SL3 lights are adjusting as well. So anything that runs off that lighting knob is going to be affected by the brightness of that. And that is nice. I do like it. As I say, I just don't like it on the side of the unit, but it's effective and it works. And that way you can control all the brightness on all your stuff that's connected to that particular item. So easy done. All right. And of course, you have to use Wing through SimApp Pro for that to work. Now let's go on to the audio panel, and we can see here we've got VHF 1 and we've got VHF 2, and what do we got there? Int at cab, which is very necessary, and of course PA over here. Okay, now the knobs you'll see. Now look at the audio panel on the Fenix. VHF 1, we turn the volume up and the volume is moving up nicely. Same with VHF 2, which is wasn't synced. Now the knobs won't move unless they're in a synced position. So once they're in a synced position, they'll be fine. And you can just sync them up like so. The ints and the cab, and of course the PA as well. Now you'll notice that the lights are not on the audio panel, so the audio option isn't selected. So you just have to push down and it turns it on. You see that? PA on, PA off, int on, a cab on I should say, cab off, int on, and VHF 2 and VHF 1. So you just push them down. Now sadly these are not lit up. These do not light up as you push them down. Maybe that'll be a future version. But lighted knobs are not an easy thing to do. It saves you using the mouse. Anything that saves us using mouse and keyboard to make our flying experiences a little bit more realistic, that's what we're aiming at, and that's what's important. So push on and push off is easy done for the actual unit itself, for the audio. Now the only issue that I actually found was with the TCAS setup, because it shows the initial code, and as you'll see on the screen with the Fenix, you can see the initial code display, and when you press clear or hold it down, it clears it from the Fenix screen, but you can't see that it cleared here. So you're not sure if it's ready to put in a new code. If you weren't looking at the Fenix screen, you'd have to take a judgment call. Now, of course, if you don't put anything in a few seconds, it puts back the code, the last code that was entered there, as you saw. So if we hold down clear, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we let go, we could then type in a code, and it would come through. But as I say, it's not a good way to sort of see that, hey, you've cleared it out. So if we went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then put in our code, same thing. You can put in a new code, but again, you can't see 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't see that you've cleared anything out. So I found a little workaround for that with the actual MobiFlight configuration on that. A very, very easy workaround that to me is better because at least I can see. So if we go to this one line in here that's got a TCAS, there's a TCAS off and a TCAS. I don't know what the TCAS off is, but we're just going to deal with this one line, TCAS, which shows the current code, as you can see, 2356. Now, if we come across here to edit this one, and if we simply just change this editing to one thing, so instead of selected code display, if we change it to standby code display, right, it'll actually work more in a way that is easier to see. So then you go, okay, don't forget to save your project as well. Save your project whenever you make any changes. So save it as a different name or whatever, so you know. But now you'll see it says -1, and see in the display it says -100. Now there's a reason for that, and it's very simple. Because when you hit clear or hold down clear and it clears it out, it will display that -100, but when you type a code in, your code will come up straight away. But to show you again, so when we hit clear this time, we hold it down, we get that -100, so we know that it's now clear, so we can put in a code, and your code is there. So to me, that works a little bit better, and just a little simple, easy workaround that I actually thought was better. So my final thoughts are definitely worth it, definitely a good unit, and it is great for desktop simmers, great for any simmers, especially if you're going to use VATSIM and you just want to quickly do your TCAS, your radio, and your audio. You've got it all there. I hope you enjoyed that review. Thanks a lot, everyone. Stay frosty, and I'll catch you again. Bye now.